Hey guys, it's Ty from the Gaming Home, and this week we're going to take a look at a spooky game, so brace yourselves for... Oh, okay. It's okay. Stay calm. Hello? Is someone there? Hey guys, it's Ty from the Gaming Helm. So today's episode is going to be all about the casting of Frank Stone. Now this game is interesting because it's made by Supermassive, the same people behind, The Quarry, Until Dawn, and of course, everyone knows it, the Dark Picture Anthology series. This is good stuff. It's built in the same way that decisions do matter, and if you screw up, characters will die, which ultimately leads to the big hook of this game, replayability. Just like the Dark Picture Anthology games, this game is separate. It doesn't belong to that universe, but it's made by the same people. That's why it's so similar. The good news is this game looks jaw-dropping gorgeous. I don't know if it's the impressive lighting effects that they used in this game or how they did it. It just looks spectacular. Graphic-wise, it is a 10 out of 10, just on graphics alone. Voice acting from all the characters on point. There's one annoying character, but by the end, her name's Chrissy, by the way. She's a typical, boss girl type character. She's supposed to be rude, sarcastic, obnoxious, and virtually unlikable. But by the end of the game, she starts to smarten up because even she understands in a life and death situation, we all got to come together, cooperate, or else we're all going to die. So there's like a bit of a redemption arc, and I feel like she got the most interesting possible story ending because she, without spoiling too much, she gets the most interesting route that you can choose depending on how you navigate the story of this game. And that's what's so great about this. This game is actually connected to the Dead by Daylight universe. You know, that one where it's just 4 survivors versus 1 psychopath in an arena, and you try to fix the generators, open the gate, and blitz. Get the hell out of Dodge before you get killed. And yeah, for the longest time, we the gamers didn't really have any story with that game. We don't understand what the motivations of these psychopaths are, why they're there, why were these civilian characters picked, and what's the deal with the giant-ass demon spider called the Entity. Well, this game finally gives us a huge lore dump. There's reasons behind it. It has to do with interdimensional, consuming of entire realities, ritual sacrifices. There's a witch in this game that literally goes through this elaborate effort to select a champion killer to, do the deeds, do the evil stuff on her behalf to attract the entity to this universe that your characters are occupying, and they're selected for various reasons without spoiling too much, but at least we're finally getting context here. We're finally at long last getting what we've always wanted, some explanation. I mean, originally when the first Dead by Daylight game, it came out, and yeah, you could just roll with it. You don't really need a big explanation. It's just a typical, 4 versus 1, try to survive romp, and there's really no explanation needed. But this game finally gave us the explanation, the exposition, the big lore behind it. It is so good and so intriguing that I feel like that, honestly, I hope they make another one, because the game, no matter how you end it, no matter how, if you get all the survivors to live, or even if they all die, the game still ultimately ends on a cliffhanger. They give us context to what the hell the deal is with the matches are, except they're called trials now. And even the bonfire lobby waiting scenes for players while we're sorting out our perks, getting our gear ready for their match, even that little fire pit has its own little in-universe explanation now. And on top of that, if you pay attention throughout the game, you'll notice all kinds of nods toward Dead by Daylight. I like that. References to the source material, that's big for me. And as far as movement goes, it's not as fluent as Dead by Daylight because it's made by different people, Supermassive. And if you ever played any of their games, the controls have always been janky and a little bit unresponsive. But the good news is, they run a little bit smoother now because this is a bit more of a faster paced game. The quick time events, they're just as unforgiving as ever before, so you're gonna definitely have to be smart about it. One mistake and that's all it takes, and it'll definitely change the entire narrative of the whole game, because in this game, yes, choices matter. You have to be on point every time. You have to also bear in mind too, there's also different time skips, because the game starts off, the primary story for this whole game starts off in the 60s, then it catapults ahead into the 2020s, then back into the 1980s. Every era, every decade that the story takes place, there's a different group of characters. You get to know them. Maybe one or more characters sort of, goes in between each decade, because, from, 1980 all the way to 2024, it's just a 40-year gap, so it's conceivably possible to see characters, in each era. Not going to spoil who or do and why, but trust me on that. You're going to have to pay attention to each group, what's going on in each decade, because they will have effects on the future. So you have to be careful, because guess what? Apart from bouncing back and forth in the decades, keeping track of where the story is, the good news is too, as far as gameplay goes, you get to search around with this weird ability, kind of like a sonar thing, where you send out a red ping and it'll reveal item locations for you. So you get to find little collectibles, little knickknacks here and there, secret collectibles and stuff like that for you completionists out there. That's definitely right up your alley, so you'll definitely enjoy that. But beyond that, weird as it may sound, the gore, the body horror on this game does not hold back. It is on point. It is not pulling any punches. I mean, they give it to you just as bad as they take it. Like the bad guys, they get, torn up pretty good in some cases, depending on how you play. But each time you screw up, the way your characters die. I mean, for example, there's one scene where one of the characters, Jaime, you get to choose. Do you want to be a hero, or you want to wuss out, run away, and live? But if you don't have the MacGuffin you were supposed to get at the drugstore, because you decide to go across the street to the novelty shop instead, then you don't have the MacGuffin that'll give you the means to fight the bad guy, and then all of a sudden Jaime gets cut in half. He gets literally bisected, one shot by this bad guy, because you didn't have the thing. And there's no way you could have known that was going to happen first time playing this game. Just like any other supermassive games, you're not going to know what to do first time through. Again, the whole pull of this game, like all the other games, the other spin-offs, the Dark Picture Anthology, the Quarry, Until Dawn, is the replayability. So once you beat the game, you're probably not going to get the ending that makes you feel content. Let's just not, there's no real happy ending with this particular game, without spoiling too much. But at least you'll say, okay, at least everyone lived, or the people I liked lived, we're in a good spot the way it is. There may or may not be a little bit of time travel in this, depending on how you play. It may or may not happen. It all ends on the decisions you make. But the good news is, at the end of the game, once you beat the game at least once, you get to unlock what's called in the menu screen the cutting room floor. This is a very innovative idea, where it literally, this new menu option will show you how you tracked your progress, the branching paths that you take, and all the different types of scenarios and outcomes that may come about depending on how you play, and depending what choices you make. If everyone lives and it goes this way, or if one or two characters die, then the branching pathway will go somewhere else. And if you don't like it, you can backtrack a couple of scenes, replay, try a different strategy, and see just how it might play out the second time around. Maybe you'll get the ending that's a little bit more satisfying for you. But like I said, this is a good game. Like I said, the typical quote-unquote boss biatch character, Chrissy, she starts off annoying, but by the end, you're rooting for her. That's good. That's good character building. You're rooting for these characters. You care about them. You don't want the bad guys to, dice up your characters. Like in some of the Dark Picture Anthology games, like House of Ashes. Yeah, there was one character in particular, I wanted her to die. I wanted her to become a vampire. I didn't care if she lived or died. She was a mean character, start to finish, honestly. I only made sure to, the first time I played it, I wanted everyone to live that way. I got the achievement, but the next time I made sure she died, and I wanted to see her die every other way you could, because she was such a jerk. It wasn't rooting for her at all. In this game, everyone I'm rooting for. I love all these characters. They are very compelling. They very well voice acted. The motion capture is right on point. And this game, honestly, like I said, they got to make another one. They don't even have to make a continuation because the way they explain the entity, the giant demon spider thing, it hops from dimension to dimension, consuming every reality it inhabits, and then it moves on. So maybe the next one they can do another dimension, another group of characters, clean slate, new killer, new motivations. You know, I'm totally into that. And the way they left it, depending, even the base raw, like ultimately even the worst ending, there is a way they could still continue the storyline. Or if you even get the best ending, there's a way they can still continue it. So yeah, I would like to see another version of this game, a sequel, you know, the casting of Frank Stone Part 2. Let's see these characters, let's see how their stories play out, because ultimately their story's not done yet. When this game initially came out, it only came out digital only, and at the time of this recording, it doesn't look like they're going to come out with a physical copy yet, and that sucks because I like to collect. I want to see this game added to my library with the rest of the games, you know, because it's not a dark picture game, but it's still a super massive game, and it plays out very similarly. If you like those games, if you like The Quarry, or if you like Until Dawn, then this is a game I would happily recommend for anyone. I love this game. Like playing it through just to see all the different kinds of endings. I'm rooting for these characters. They're so good. The graphics, the gameplay is pretty decent. It's the most fluid I personally have ever seen in a supermassive game to date. And yeah, good game all around. So you heard the testimony, now it's time for the verdict. Because no physical copy, and because the game could have been a little bit longer, I'm not gonna lie, I could have gone for at least another 4 or 5 hours of it. But hey, what are you gonna do? I'm still gonna give this an enthusiastic 9 out of 10. It earns it. This game does good. All right, so before we check out today, I want to encourage everyone, if you've made it to this point in the video, because I know a lot of people don't watch these videos start to finish, but if you're still here, watch to the end, because there's a little sneak peek of things to come on the helm, all right? A little post-credits scene, as it were, so stick around. We got more interesting things coming down the line, and this is your first glimpse of it. I'm really excited for you to see this. All right, with that all said, thanks a lot for tuning in to another episode of The Gaming Helm. Hope you enjoyed it, and hey, as always, have a great day. We'll see you soon.